Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with life coach Linda Armstrong. Today is Friday, July the 24th, 2020. It's 4 p.m. New York time, and wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And Rita Giganti isn't joining us today. She's got something that is kind of conflicting, so we'll welcome her back next week. But Linda, I mean, we're used to doing these. We've been doing it with Rita so long, it's almost like we forgot, but we did a lot of these, just you and me. We can do this again.
For like, 2 years or more?
Something like that, yeah. I think we remember that. We remember how to do it. And I thought today we could actually do something that we haven't done on the Friday show in a long time. I call it a virtual Q&A. That's where I go through like Facebook groups looking for interesting questions that people posted there and treat it as if they were asking us here on the show. This is kind of a good set of things to talk about. And I found some that were really kind of interesting today, to be perfectly honest. A couple of them quite advanced too, but some of them were a little bit more simple. So I'm going to start with one. Well, first of all, I want to remind people, I'm trying to remember to do all these little things in a different order now. So I want to remind people who are not yet downloading the app, download the app because that's where it's all happening. I have noticed something that is not working properly that I don't really like, that it doesn't always update the episodes the way I want them to. So I'm going to be building in a little button so you can update yourself in case you don't actually see the most recent set of episodes like you'd expect at the top of the list. There'll be sort of a workaround, but people are giving good feedback on it, Linda. I'm really happy about that.
All right, and, awesome.
And all of the co-hosts, or most of the co-hosts, are now stepping up and donating things to the app. So guys, you're going to get yourselves one heck of an app. Just within the matter of weeks, there's going to be so much fabulous content on there. There are going to be, Dan Mangino already has given us a couple things. There's going to be some meditations. Cindy Chavez just gave us an ebook. Linda's getting ready to give us some stuff. I mean, it's just, there is so much stuff that's going on this, and it's just going to keep growing. So this app is the thing to get. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, go to your app store or your Play Store, look for LOA Today, download the app, and, join in on the fun because there's a lot of value add in this thing. So just saying, So anyway, the first question that I pulled off of Facebook that I wanted to bring in, this one's fairly straightforward, but and it's one that people are dealing with a lot, but I figured it's a good one to start with. It says, I'm struggling with accepting our current realities. I feel like the world is falling apart and people are losing their minds. The future looks bleak. The present is infuriating. I could use some legit advice to feel more positive than I do. I figure this one's right in our wheelhouse, Linda, because this is what we've been talking about for weeks.
Absolutely. Because the first thing that comes to my mind is we make our own reality. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't feel doom and gloom. I just don't feel it. I feel all good, positive changes happening and like so many possibilities opening up that we can't even comprehend yet or see. But if you can move away from it, I'll give you some ideas on how to move away from that fear and that listening to that group. It's only the media who wants you to think. I mean, truly, it's the media controlling the people, taking your power away by only giving you the doom and the gloom. There's so much good stuff out there. I would say, first off, go to YouTube and search some things and see what all these different people are talking about. And you'll be blown away. There are factual documents of things that will support positive changes that are happening, but you got to find it because you're not going to get it in the regular media. So going back to, we've been talking about it here on this show for a while. Everything's shifting, right? We're changing tracks from one way of being from another being. We're moving from the third dynamic way of living to the third dimension way of living to the fourth dimension, where things flow with ease and joy, where we have so much more telepathic abilities. And I mean, it's going to be crazy. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people talking about that stuff on YouTube, right? So if you catch our show on YouTube, you're already there. Do some search and find some more answers. I mean, if you just do a little investigating of your own, right? Because obviously it doesn't feel right to you when you're listening to all that doom and gloom out there, because your body knows how to tune into what's true and what isn't. And the truth will always make you feel lighter. Anything else is a lie. So unfortunately, the media will put some truths out there, connect to a lot of lies. That's just the way it works. it's controlled by the people who just want to control us, okay, with the doom and the gloom. Why don't they share all the good stories going on in the world? Do you ever hear those? One or two, maybe? I don't know. I don't even listen anymore. But my point is this: we make our own reality. So what reality do you want to create? And start creating it. And I like, things I've been tuning in a lot with Access Consciousness. You can look that up. And it's all about really taking control by not having to be controlled, or actually not having to control everything. It's kind of like giving things up so that you can work with this energy, because everything is energy, right? It's all energy. So you can choose to tune into the energies that support you, and you can feel it in your body. So the truth will always feel lighter. Mm-hmm. When some things are going well and it really just flows with you, how do you feel? You feel so expanded. I mean, I was talking about this with a client the other day. You feel taller. Like, how many times have you felt taller in your body?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is saying something, by the way, because I'm already pretty tall. But I mean, it just kind of adds to the effect.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like everything's going so well. When things are going so well, you feel yourself open and expand. So you can actually feel like your physical body is bigger than it is, because you're just feeling the expansion of your energy that is actually within this body, but much more of it is outside of your body. So when your vibration is high and you start resonating with those energies, you really start to feel lighter, bigger, more expanded. That's your true nature. So when you start feeling caved in and worried and stuck in fear, that's not your true nature. That's all put on you by the outside. So you might want to say, oh yeah, that's a lot of bullshit, Linda. And believe me, I would have thought that maybe, years ago, many years ago, because you think you're the effect of everything outside of you, not understanding that you're in co-creation with everything. Mm-hmm. Nothing happens in your reality unless there's some part of you that goes into agreement with it. So I'm saying, stop agreeing with that shit and start looking for what's your truth. And so you find it by feeling what feels lighter. So, and you can ask a lot of questions like, okay, so like I keep asking, okay, what new possibilities are there available for me? I mean, I think I might even share it on the show. I've got one business that could be closed tomorrow, but I'm not letting it sink me in. Whereas years and years ago, not even that many years ago, I would have been crushed by it. Mm-hmm. But instead I'm like, all right, so what is this opening up for me? How is this coming into my reality in this way where I can take it and fly with it and grow it into something better? Yeah, right. And actually, as I say the words, I feel like I'm starting to get into that energy mode, right? Where I start expanding and I don't even know where I end. Right? Yeah. So I love this feeling. It's a very high feeling. So that means to me that spirit's like, yeah, okay, let's get this message out there. Because even those people who think that you're crazy for saying it, within them, there's the truth of it will resonate on some level, and that will help them to awaken to it. So you may have heard that there's this great awakening going out. Do some Googling on that. Mm, yeah, do some research on that. So tools, how do you shift out of that? First of all, you can say, okay, is it true that everything's coming to an end for me and life is going to suck from now on and nothing good in the world and everybody, blah, blah, blah. Is it true? And see how it feels. Now, if it feels expanded, then yeah, that's your truth. But if it feels heavy, then it's not your truth. So that means you're taking on all this outside influence, right? And you're disconnecting from what you truly know to be. So then you can do a couple of things. First of all, there's a process where you say, well, who does this belong to? Because especially for empathic people, you're picking up on a lot of energy out there that you don't have to hold as your own. So even just by saying the words, who does this belong to? And maybe a few times, who does this belong to? Is this even mine? Who does this belong to? Who does this belong to? You feel the energy start to lift. I mean, it's amazing. You'll feel it start to lift, almost to the point where you start to giggle like, holy shit, it really wasn't even mine. Okay, yeah. Well, cool. Then there's another one I like to use too, especially when maybe you're listening to some doom and gloom story or a relative or a friend calls you up and that happens a lot too. You start taking their stuff on. They're talking about all the misery that they're witnessing or that they're hearing about and taking on as their own and now dumping it on you, right? So then you just have to be like, there's a process called interesting point of view. Well, what if that's just an interesting point of view? It doesn't have to be yours. And when you say interesting point of view, that they have that point of view, it starts to blow it out. So you don't have to hold it, and you can allow them to have it without judging them. So like when I say all this, I'm not coming from a place of judging all of those people who choose to look at the doom and the gloom. I just want to open you up to the possibility that maybe it's not doom and gloom, and maybe it's the start of a whole new, better life for you. What if that were true? So then you ask the universe, like, how could this possibly help me in my life? It's just a question. We don't want to get stuck in the head. We want to be with the energy, allow the energy to flow. We talk about that a lot on this show. I'm sure that on all the other shows during the week that Walt does, they talk about that too, because that's the energy of LOA today, you know? We want to be like the water, and we want to flow with the energies, not put up walls. See, because when you put up walls, and I had a new client text me in between sessions this week, and she said, how can I protect myself and put up barriers? And I used to think that was a good thing. I don't, because when you're putting up walls or barriers because you want to block out the negativity, you block out everything. A wall is a wall. Yeah. A barrier is a barrier, right? So I prefer, for me anyway, I just like to fill myself up with light. Just call in light from the universe. Call in this. I mean, we're all made out of light. Everything's light. Everything's energy. So just call in that energy of the light and be so brilliant and so bright that those negative things can't penetrate, because they can't be together. Light and the dark doesn't exist at the same time. The fear and love, they can't coincide at the same time. You're either feeling the energy of love or you're feeling the energy of fear. So don't put up walls and barriers. Instead, fill yourself up with so much light. And it doesn't matter how you do it. You just call it in. You can do very visual things if you like. I used to do a lot of more visual stuff. Now I just pull it in. Let's cut to the chase. I mean, my guides are always telling me, there's no right way. Find your own way and keep it simple. So yeah, how much more simple is that? Just call on it. The universe, the universe knows one answer. Yes. So it's like, send me some light. Yes. I'll send you some light. Right? This world is miserable and it's going down the tubes and we're all going to die. Maybe you're going to get a yes. And so that you're building that reality for yourself. So I'm saying, what reality do you want to choose? That's what we started with this question, right? What reality do you want to choose? Everything's a mirror. Maybe none of this even exists, right? It's all energy. In fact, I think the part I did see of your show of David was kind of speaking to that, the stream. Because you were asking about what is consciousness and is it tangible and all that kind of stuff. So, it's all energy. So we go into an agreement that this is my water bottle. That's my iPad right now. This is a pen, wood, desk, right? We're in agreement with it. And the masses agree with it. So that holds it in place as something solid. But is it really? I don't know. Maybe it isn't.
It's the question.
Maybe it isn't. And for me, so when you start to be able to feel your energy expand, and you can start to learn that through meditation, and there's going to be a bunch of cool ones on the app, because I know I'm looking through which ones I want to give you and what things I want to add to it. It helps you to feel your energy expand. You can get energy healing sessions. Let me tell you, if you have a session with me, I'm going to expand your energy. You're going to feel it. You're going to start getting used to it. Like, I have a new client now who is so new to all this stuff, yet he's like, this is weird, because you can feel the energy. It's like, wow, what is that? Okay, that's you. That's the truth of you. That's your energy expanding. So I don't know. I went off on a tangent. Did we answer that?
I remember the first time that you showed me that. I mean, back when you first joined the show, I was asking you about energy, and I don't remember what the exercise was, but we ran through some kind of exercise, and you were asking me halfway through, do you feel the energy? Do you feel how far out your field is? And like, whoa, yeah. Oh my goodness, what is that?
And you know what it is? I think sometimes people just don't acknowledge that. Like, it's there for everyone. And you feel it and you do it all the time. You're just not, your attention is so not on that. It's on the stuff out there that you don't really acknowledge that you're doing that until someone, maybe like me or someone, guides you through where you can start to feel that energy expand. And you're like, oh, I felt this before. This feels familiar. Oh, this is cool. Right?
Even if it's a shock the first time, which it was for me, you do it 2 or 3 times and it does start to feel familiar quickly, really quickly, which suggests to me that it was already familiar on a subconscious level. Yeah.
Right. So it's just that now you have an awareness of it. So that's the whole thing with the awakening. We're just awakening. We're becoming more awake and aware and conscious instead of going through our day-to-day unconscious. Now, I had a really unconscious moment today because I was driving home and I started thinking about something. And then the next thing you know, I'm on the Palisades Interstate Parkway. And I'm like, I do not remember getting off the thruway.
Oh my, yeah.
I'm like, and then, so I'm like, I call this guy that drives with me and keeps me, keeps everything cool while I'm driving. I'm like, I call him Chauncey.
Okay.
I'm like, thank you, Chauncey, because I don't remember how I got here, but thank you for keeping me aware enough that I didn't go and crash into something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't even have the awareness that you were unaware.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
You're just going through your life like this on autopilot. And so as you go through your life on autopilot, you're it's like you're just giving your power away to outside stuff. So
we've all had that experience too, the experience of driving like that. And what happened? I mean, where did the last 10 minutes ago? I forgot.
Yeah. But it's a good thing that we do this kind of thing so much. And the road is so familiar with me that, part of me just knows, took me where I needed to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Driving has become so second nature to us. We don't even think about it.
So like my higher self
will the wheel this way or will the wheel that way. We just go that way.
Yeah. Well, because maybe your higher self is like, okay, come on, let's just go. Linda, wake up. It's like, huh?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. What was I doing? Yeah, that was fun. Boy, a lot of energy was flowing with that right now, that whole message. So that was a great question.
You covered a lot in that question. I mean, you started with one basic premise that the question raised, and you went in like, whoa, a huge expansion.
So it's like the energy just wanted to flow.
Yeah.
And the two things were, who does this belong to? An interesting point of view. That'll always shift yourself out of something because you realize, well, hold on a second, is that necessarily my truth? Or does it even have to be my truth? Am I just picking that up because it's a pattern that's the thing with patterns and programs that you pick up throughout your life, especially the one you're aware of, like this present lifetime, where you start acting and behaving like the people that you grew up around. And then sometimes you have an awareness of it. You're like, hold on a second. I was just totally acting exactly like my mom would in that situation.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't want to act like, that's not me. So you start to have awareness. So that's like awakening up and not just being like a little robot going through life on the subconscious mind's limited programs.
Yeah. Good stuff in there. Something else occurred to me too while you were laying out all this great stuff. As we go through the steps that you were describing to bring our energy into a better place, to refocus ourselves into a better place, something really kind of interesting and fun can happen if you're willing to do it. Now, the person who asked this question was clearly dealing with the worst of stuff that's been going on lately and was really feeling overwhelmed by it. But if you can start to shift that energy, you can start actually playing with that thing that was bugging you so much. You can actually take some time and just, after you've gotten yourself into a better place, you can go back and look at it and say, okay, well, that thing that was really, really miserable to me and I thought was just terrible, was taking over the world. Now that I'm looking at it from a different, higher, better feeling energy, where can I see the positive in it? I know I couldn't see it before, but now that I'm in a higher vibrational place, I can often find a positive. I wonder where it is.
Absolutely. And if you can even force yourself to look for the positive, and then it's kind of like an aha, like, oh, there actually was something good that came out of that. And so now how can I expand on that universe? How can I expand on this?
Yeah.
Okay. I see why this may have occurred in my life. So where do I go now? What possibilities are open for me now?
Right.
How can I turn something that felt like yuck into something like really great?
And by the way, that feels like a victory. When you do that, I don't know about you, but I find when I've come up against something, I'll call it a a point of struggle, when I've come up against a point of struggle like that, something that I really detest, and it's just kind of dominating my attention and so forth, and then I find a way to shift my energy so I can look at it differently, and then find a way to actually look at it differently, to see it in some sort of more helpful or positive light, like seeing something good coming out of it. That's an amazing feeling. Because up until that point, I really, on some level, thought that is unchangeable. And then I changed it. And I did it within moments.
Oh,
that's quite a feeling.
Because we can flip the ship. We can flip the switch. And we can do that. We have that power. We can do that. We don't always choose to do it, though. So like some questions that can soften the energy and lighten it up, I'm writing them down as you're saying it, but it's simple. It just comes out. It's like, well, what can I create from here?
Yeah.
And if you don't know, like, how is this actually serving me? How is what we're going through right now serving the world?
Oh, that's a great question.
What good can come from all of this? Now, that's why I gave my example, because some people are like, yeah, well, you don't know what you're talking about, because I have no job and know this and know that. Like, okay, so then where can you go from here? What can you do that you would love to do even more? How can this serve you in some way? You don't have to get in your head and try and figure out. That's when we get stuck, when we try to figure it out, because all that reactive stuff kicks in. Everything you heard when you were a little kid, like, you're a failure. You can't do that. What makes you think you can just go from there to there? Like, there's so much of that stuff that we've taken on. And of course, it's not our own. So that's why you say, well, who does that belong to? And you don't have to know, oh, that was my second grade teacher, because I didn't know the answer to 4 + 4 or whatever it was, right? There's so many experiences like that some parts of us might grasp onto and own it as our own, when really it isn't, because you truly are a creator, a co-creator, and that you have the ability to do anything you set your mind to do, your intention, your energy to do. So I was saying, I gave that example because I have one business that could be totally gone, that brings in the bulk of our income, basically. But since I haven't gone into that really doom and gloom place, my healing business is picking up, because my vibration is there. It is not going down, it's staying up. And I'm pulling in energy from the universe. So maybe I can do a little thing on teaching you this one process for pulling in energy from the universe.
Sure.
Because that I'm doing a lot of that. And that's really cool. So what I'll do is I'll pull in energy from all of those people who I can help to love their life. That's me, lovemylife.coach, right? To love their life, to all those people who I can help to let go of what's holding them back, so that they can actually be the truth and the light that they are. Like, how can I add more light to people? And send me all of those who I can actually help to expand into that, right? So I'm asking the universe, I'm pulling the energy. So when you're pulling energy, it's like, if I were pulling energy, I'm not taking it from Walt and pulling it to me. I'm not taking his energy.
Not stealing it. Right.
No, I'm pulling universal energy through you towards me.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people I can help, then maybe you would be being pulled and drawn towards me. Now, let me tell you, since I'm doing this, and I don't really know what all of this means and stuff, but my website is getting like 300 on average new people to it every day.
Nice.
Now, I don't even know where that comes from, but it's just started increasing. It went from like 100 to 300. So I think it comes because I'm pulling that energy. I'm pulling energy from people. Maybe they see something on my website that would inspire them or help them in some way. And even if they don't call me specifically to work with me, maybe there's something that they see that opens them up a little bit, makes them feel lighter, and maybe directs them to someone else who can help them. But the whole idea is just how can we just draw energy from all those people who I can in some way help. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm also pulling in the energy of money from the universe, pulling it in. Then you have it show up in like unsuspecting ways, right? Pulling in energy for the karate school. And I'm kind of changing that to, I'm pulling in the energy of new possibilities for the karate school. That's a business that we don't know what's happening, because we don't know if we could ever do a contact sport again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Crazy, right? So, all right, so universe has another plan for me, what are we going to do? We're going to flow with the energy. And if you get shot down, you don't want to stay there too long. You want to look towards whatever that is, that whatever those thoughts are that are pulling you down. And I'm giving you the easiest way to do it. Who does this belong to?
It's funny
Interesting
too,
point of view.
because as you're describing all of this, I'm remembering when I was in my 20s and I was deciding at that point to try to at least dip my toe in the contrast, to use the language you use today. At the time, that's not the way I thought about it. It was just I would try something. And in that trying, I would try to like just experiment with doing a new business, just to see if I could do it. Not as I'm going to dive right in and make it my new income, just something I would do on the side, just to try it. And in the course of doing that, of course, the first question that came into my mind is similar to the one that comes into most people's minds when they decide to be an entrepreneur. How am I going to market this? How am I going to get new customers? How am I going to make that happen? And I explored a lot of stuff. I took some courses. I read some books. I watched, I read blogs. I was just checking out everybody I could find, rejecting a lot of it, but, just learning. And I was never actually seeing anything at all that was similar to what you just said. It was all, here's the step-by-step stuff. Here's the concrete steps that you take in order to, find a new customer and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't realize it at the time. I realize it now as I look back. There was a piece of me that was wanting to hear the kind of message you were giving, but I wouldn't allow myself to bring that thought up because it was too, quote, impractical.
Right.
It was not the way the gurus taught it, so it couldn't be valid.
Right.
And then to hear you say it right now, I was saying to myself, when was the last time I heard a marketing course talk about what Linda just said? And the answer was never.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably some out there now,
Probably, yeah.
If you're looking in the realm of maybe even life coaching, but healing and stuff like that. But what's interesting though, is because, okay, so I'm in that world and I've done other people's courses and all that stuff. But the problem is it may have worked for that person, but if it doesn't fit with you, it's not going to work for you.
Right.
And that's why my guides would tell me, find your own way. There's no right way. Find your own way. Keep it simple. So sometimes we give too much power away to that so-called guru or expert, but just because that worked for them in their world doesn't mean it's going to work for yours. And then you feel like what? A worse failure, right?
Oh yeah, it's miserable.
But you know what I love about what you said I rejected most of it because your knowing was like, no, that's just not for me. No, that's not good. That's not for me. So you were already doing that.
And, I was, yeah. I didn't know what I was supposed to do instead, but at least I did that part. I got that part right.
Yeah. So originally I was law of attraction coach, right? That's how I started. Okay. And that kept developing. And then before you know it, I'm doing healing work. Like I never intended to do healing work. But as I've opened up to this and the energy that wants to flow through me, and I'm working just with energy, like I'm telling you, pulling energy, everything's growing without having to try at all. It's just pulling energy. So I'm going to keep doing that. Right.
I like that. That's a nice, simple approach.
And I have to say, I haven't gone into the doom and gloom in a pretty long time. And really, I think the access consciousness stuff, out of all the stuff I've done before, is so simple and it opens up to so many possibilities. It really does expand your energy, your awareness into knowing that there could be more. And by all these little simple, just look up access consciousness and tools of access consciousness. You'll find tons of them, little short videos even explaining it, and just start using it.
Talk a little bit more too about what the step-by-step method is. And I say that because that's what most courses are about. They show you the step-by-step method. Well, there's a step-by-step method here. It's pretty short. It's pretty simple. But how do you actually draw that energy in? What do you do?
Okay. So again, I'm going to say there's no right way. You could find your own way to do it. But I'll take us through it right now. Right.
Okay.
But before I even do the pulling of energy, I want to do a little bit of expanding your energy out.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll be in that nice expanded energy. So if you're driving your car listening,
yeah.
You don't
stop it right now. Play it later.
Just keep your awareness here and do it again later.
Right.
You can do it I can do this while I'm driving a car. I can expand my energy. I can pull energy in, but I'm
But
just
you
putting
want to
that
do
little,
it when you only
it's
want to
kind
do
of
that after
nice.
you've practiced it, when you're good at it. You don't want to start it
Yeah.
from scratch when you need to be focusing on the road.
Yeah. It's kind of nice because right now I would like you to really let yourself go and expand into that energy. And maybe I'll do a few clearings along the way. We'll see what happens with it.
Okay.
All right. So, and the way I'm going to do it now is going to probably be a little bit longer, only because I want you to really get into the feeling of it and use your own imagination, because you don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. You find your own way to do it. So you follow the energy and you see where it takes you. And the pulling of the energy, you can just say, okay, I'm pulling energy from the universe of blah, 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 boom. Okay, and done. I like to go through letting you feel how we're pulling the energy in. We'll do that. And there was something else I wanted to say about that, but I don't know. It'll probably come through as we start doing it. Yeah. So, right. So so the message is you find your own way, what feels right for you, what takes you into that. So if you let your imagination go and you follow the words that I use, I'm going to guide you there. But I just want to stress, you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can find your own way, your own style of doing it to feel that. Maybe as that's happening, you're like, oh, I feel like that all the time when I do blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so get into that space of that energy and then pull. I pull energy in the shower every day, and I like to do it before I go to sleep. And then whenever I think about it throughout the day, if the thought hits me, or especially if my energy is low, then I just pull energy and revive myself. Just pull the energy, and then you feel it,
So let's do it
then. The more you do it, the easier it gets, the more you feel it. So even if you don't feel it exactly right now, do it a few times, you'll feel it.
Well, that's true for any of the processes that we teach and learn about, aren't they? I mean, you have to try them a few times before you can actually master them.
Yeah. Because in the beginning, you're probably a little bit too much in your head trying to figure out the right way to do it, or,
right.
And then after a while, it's just, no, I'm just going to do it. Just go with the flow, because it's your true nature.
Yeah.
We have so many abilities that we don't even know about yet. And that's what's cool, because as we're shifting, we're going to be having more. Walt, have you noticed you're far more psychic than you ever were?
Yeah.
I can't even believe the synchronicities that are going on and the things I know before they happen right now.
Yeah. And if you had asked me that question 10 years ago, I would have looked at you with this crazy look. And now I have to say, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the LOA thing. The more you acknowledge that and see that, the more you acknowledge that and see that.
That's right. Yeah. The more it shows
up. And the more
up.
you acknowledge that and see that, it just grows.
Right.
All right. So how about if everybody just closes their eyes, take a nice deep breath in. So I'm going to do it a little bit more meditative. It doesn't have to be this way, just because for some reason I'm being told to do it like this. So I'm going to do it.
Why not?
So just taking a nice, easy, deep breath in, letting it out. And see if you can breathe past your chest down into your belly. Nice deep breath in, expanding your belly. Slow, easy breath out. So you can always do this to calm yourself. Your breath will always calm you down. Whatever's going on around you, if you connect to your breath, you can bring yourself into a peaceful place where then you can make decisions that are really more suited to you and not based on some sort of a reaction. So just had to share that. So let's take another deep breath in, belly breath in. This time, hold it at the top for like 6 seconds, just holding it. And then just letting it all the way out. Feeling yourself sinking into the surface that you're sitting on, laying on, wherever it is you might be. Just feeling, it's almost like your body's getting heavier as you let go. And so I want you to imagine now that you can expand your energy out past your body. Like, now let's just go like 15, 20 feet, right? As if your energy goes all the way out 15 or 20 feet above you, below you, like down into the earth or down into the first floor or wherever you might be. Letting that energy expand in all directions all around you. And now thinking and imagining that we're actually going to expand that out. Like you're going to push the energy out further. Maybe we're going 100 feet, 1,000 feet, 100 miles. Just feel yourself opening and expanding up and out and all around, below you. So you start to even disconnect from all of the matter that exists, right? Because we're going down into the earth, we're going up into the sky, we're going out in every direction, touching all the trees in the neighborhood, right? All the buildings, just feeling yourself expanding even more. And now imagine your energy is expanding so far out, it just expands even around the whole entire planet, right? Feeling that energy going up into the outer space, just using your imagination, letting yourself go. You may even start to not realize where your body ends, right? Sometimes you get into that state where it's like, I know I have hands, but I kind of don't know where they are right now. It's like you lose all sense of the physical and just allowing your energy to expand out further and further. Maybe you can feel this soft buzzing, or almost like you're in this cushion of air. Maybe it feels warm. There's no right way. Just feeling that energy expanding out. And then you can even start to think, wow, instead of being a spirit within a body, what if your body is just within your spirit, right? Your energy, your spirit, the truth of you, so much bigger than this physical body, so far expanded out. And just feel the peace and the calm that is there, right? Any thoughts that come into your mind, you just let them go. You can return to them later. I like to tell them, talk to the hand, come back later. I'm busy right now. Just floating with the universe, flowing with that energy. So now we'll do some energy pulling. And you do not have to get into this expanded state to do it. You can do it at any time. It just feels really good when you get into this expanded place. For me, it's like a natural high, just letting yourself be in that energy. And now I want you just to imagine that you're pulling this energy of the universe, pulling it in through your hands. It's going through your forearms, your upper arms, into your shoulders, coming down into your chest, into your heart center, into your heart, and you're going to be awakening the thymus, which is a center that used to be a very psychic center, but around puberty, they kind of cut that off in some way. So we're just pulling this energy in through our hands, coming down through the heart, going into that thymus, and then going out through the opposite legs. So you pull that energy in through your hands, through the heart center, and out through the opposite legs, down into the earth. And then at the same time, we're going to pull that beautiful energy up from the earth, up into your feet, through your calves, your knees, your thighs, up through your torso, up through that heart center once again, going through the thymus, and up and out through your hands. So we pulled energy in through the hands, out through the feet, and we pulled energy up through the feet, out through the hands. And now you're going to pull energy in through the top of your head, again coming down, just calming and relaxing all the little muscles in your face, going down to your shoulders, into your heart center, passing through that thymus once again, down through your torso, through your legs, calves, down and out through your feet, into the earth. And now once again, pulling that beautiful earth energy up through your feet, going up through your legs, through your torso, again through the thymus, and up and out through the top of your head. So these are all the ways you can pull energy in, through your hands, through your feet, through your head. And now what we want to do is, let's just pull in the energy of peace and the energy of love. Let's pull that energy in through all of these openings, your head, your feet, your hands. Just soaking that beautiful energy, pulling it into your body and pulling in energy, right? To really energize yourself. And if there's anything that you've been desiring, let's pull that energy in, right? So for many people, maybe right now, it really is the thing to do with money. So let's pull in that energy of money. Energy, money is just energy. So let's vibrate to the love of the energy of money, right? Not all those outside things attached to it that would make you feel like it's not good or it's bad or it's wrong, because then your system will reject that, right? So just get to know this energy of money, the same as the energy of love, and then pull that into you. Yeah. Because the universe just wants to give. And it's our jobs to relearn how to receive. So by doing the energy pulls and having this energy pass through the thymus, awakening that center more, so you have more of that heart and mind coherence, right? The third eye and the thymus working together. We've spoken about heart math with Rita, right? So that same kind of thing. Just pulling that energy in. And now we just want to thank the universe for sending us this beautiful energy, right? But I don't want you to close yourself off. Just allow yourself to be open. So anywhere where you've put up walls and barriers with the intention of protecting yourself, if you want to say yes, I'd like you now to uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion, right? So that you can be open to receive. No more barriers keeping you from receiving all the good that wants to come through, all the good the universe wants to send to you. So any and all barriers that you have placed within your field, we now ask that they be uncreated and destroyed, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That's just the access consciousness clearing. You can find out about that at theclearingstatement.com, and you can start using that for yourself with everything and anything to uncreate and break up, destroy from the point of creation to the point of destruction, those energies that don't serve you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and anything that is blocking you from realizing your truth and your potential to be this unlimited energy, this truth of you, to be able to hold love, to be able to hold positive energies, to fill yourself up with all that is good, anything that is preventing that or blocking that, we now pull and release it all to the light, uncreating, destroying all of it, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And so I just want to download you, right? Just download you into every single cell of your body with what it feels like to be open and receptive to all of the good that wants to come. What it feels like to shine your light so bright and to fill up with this energy of light at any moment, so as to only allow the light in. Anything that prevents that, forbids that from being your truth, we now choose to uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, feels good. All right, and so just bringing yourself back, but see if you can come back, but still feel that expanded energy, right? And get used to that feeling of this expanded energy. And that could be maybe how you can determine like what is true for you. Because the truth will always make you feel lighter. So right now, I'm guessing you feel pretty light, right? Don't feel heavy. At this moment, the world is not caving in on you. At this moment, we're just being the light. Yeah. Nice deep breath. Eyes open and just really feeling. So sometimes if you've never done this before, you can kind of look around the room and see if things look crisper, if the colors look brighter, if you can feel yourself bigger than what you used to perceive yourself at a half an hour ago. Yeah, just notice anything that's different. Anything that, I know I get pretty silly, and hopefully my voice carried, because sometimes I get a softer voice when I start getting in that energy.
Oh no, you were doing fine. That was great.
Okay, good.
I am feeling that energy in a big, big way right now. I do every time that we do one of these types of exercises, and it's fun. It's fun to feel it because that energy there's no effort to it. It's just there, and it's fun to feel it sensually, to feel it with the senses, to see it, to touch it. I mean, right now I can just feel it. I don't know how far out it goes. It doesn't matter. It just feels like it goes out and out and out.
Right.
And it has a texture to it that is so fine. It's tangible. I mean, you can feel it. It's really, really very definitely there, but it's such a fine texture. It's like touching I don't know, a really, really soft cloth, or, something like that. Something that's just got a very sensuous feel to it. And when I look at it, I don't know what you see. What I see whenever I'm seeing this energy, I see like golden flecks throughout the atmosphere, just like little sparkly flecks everywhere that I look.
That's beautiful. And know what I love about that even more is that when I first met you, you didn't know how to call that,
right,
or how to describe that. And I'd be like, well, you know what it is. You're like, no, well, I don't know. What is energy? Because it was just caught up on the words. Whereas I think once you started expanding into it, you're like, oh yeah, so this is familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, maybe you didn't have that awareness now, but I bet you now you have this awareness that is familiar to you. It's not like you never knew it and now you suddenly know it. It's just that now you know how to tap into it, and maybe even how to describe what that is for you with words.
And that is what happens. Over time, I have learned to develop vocabulary to describe it, because it was frustrating at first. That's one of the reasons that I would bring up. I don't know how to describe that. What is that thing that's out there? But over time, like you say, as you play with it, as you kind of experience it and get familiar with it, I don't know that I actually can say I recall feeling this before we started doing those sessions 3 years ago or whatever it was. But it's very familiar now, as if it's been around forever. And I can't tell you where the distinction is between the two.
Yeah, because it has been around forever. You just weren't aware of it before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's why it's familiar. Like a lot of this stuff, as you start expanding into it, it is familiar. And after a while, especially as we're changing tracks, it's almost like you don't remember that you didn't know it. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of probably what you're saying right now. It's like, it's like, well, yeah, it was always there, but I can't tell you where it was because I used to think it wasn't there, but it is there. Right. So it's kind of strange like that.
I was also noticing something else as I was describing that. The feeling that I get on my face in particular, when I'm sensing this, when I'm feeling this energy, is very similar to the feeling. It's not the same, but it's very similar to the feeling that I feel when I feel shy or embarrassed. Your
like a flush
and all that kind of thing. That you get that flush feeling.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that feeling. Only it's not at all unpleasant. It's very pleasant. Yeah, but the texture of it is very, very similar.
Right. So, and it can be different for everybody. So if you stop to think about it, well, what did that feel like? Or you do it again and maybe your awareness is more, okay, this feels kind of smooth or whatever that might be for you, Mm-hmm. For me, I know I just really, can I find words for what I feel? It's kind of like, it's hard to find words for it, but it's kind of like, I don't know where I begin and where I end. I just become all of the everything. Mm-hmm. In some way, even though I do know I have a body here and I'm in front of this camera, but it just expands and extends. And maybe I feel it like through the third eye start to expand out. I'm not even sure. I know I get very high from it.
Yeah, right. No kidding. Me too. Totally. And I know that also it's like the boundaries. You talk about how you can still feel the body, and I can still feel the body, but the boundaries between the body and the energy have blurred.
Right.
Most of the time we have a very clear sense of where my hand ends and where it begins,
Yeah.
But when we've done something like this, it blurs.
Right.
It's almost like you can tell the difference, but it's almost like you can hardly tell the difference between the energy and the hand.
Yeah. Well, and what's fun is if you get into like a really deep meditative space, I mean, I'll laugh at myself in my meditation because I'm like, I know my hands are on my lap.
Yeah,
I don't know where that is. I don't know where that is. And isn't that so cool?
I think it's Nasha in the live stream is saying her experience is that it's brighter and more colorful. The room seems full of light and good color.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. So I think we only did one question. Was there more questions? And we're going to be out of time now.
Yeah, I mean, there were other questions. You're right. We pretty much did one. I can bring in, well, the others were kind of along the same line as what this one was. There was one that was kind of out there. Let me bring that one in.
Okay.
Not out there. It was advanced, I would say.
Okay. Oh, we may not have time, but let's see.
Well, we started a little bit late, so we got about 9 minutes left. So let's go for it.
All right, cool.
It says, "Hey, beautiful people that study and practice the law taught by Neville." This is a Neville group that it came from. "Could you kindly help with dream interpretation, please? I was told in a lucid dream, a dream that I know that I was dreaming, that the story that I am telling about my special person isn't true because I am the only one awakened in this story. So is this just a subconscious limiting belief that, of course, I can change? What do you understand that it means? For what belief do you suggest me to change?"
Okay, read it one more time. Okay, good.
And let me finish it. She says, "By the way, my special person is a very spiritual person." So reading it again, "Could you help me interpret this dream? It's a lucid dream, a dream where I know I'm dreaming, that the story that I'm telling about my special person isn't true because I am the only one awakened in this story." That's the message that she's getting. That the story that she's telling herself isn't true. And she's asking, is this a subconscious limiting belief that she could, of course, change?
Well, so I'm not a dream interpreter in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. I've been learning a few things through David Wilcock because he'll share that. And in fact, there's a book, and I have it on Audible. I didn't listen to it yet, but I'll tell you the title because it's where he got most of what he learned to do with lucid dreaming and with dream interpretation. Let me just go to the library. And it's called Controlling Your Dream State, I think. It's important to remember. Oops, hold on. I don't want to play it. Example. Oops. Okay. Nobody speak.
He was trying to come through really hard here.
That was David Wilcock. That was the Source Field Investigations. I can't read the whole title, but it's Controlling Your Dream State or something. And it's by Stephen LaBerge, Laberge. And it's a short book. It's only, I don't know. I can't tell right now.
That's right.
But anyway, so that's a good source. So I've been wanting to listen to it. I just haven't done it yet. Right. So I can learn more. But one big takeaway I got from what I've been learning with David Wilcock is that everyone in your dream, everyone and everything in your dream is you. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a representation of you. So yeah, it is not the story of that other person. It could be a story of something within you. Does it have to be a limiting belief? Not necessarily. Maybe it's just trying to show you something, or maybe you're clearing some energy. So very interesting, because I had one client where after the sessions, she likes to she's such a peaceful energy that she'll want to sleep a little bit. She said after this last session that we did, she had this dream and she was so angry in this dream and she couldn't believe how angry she was. And she was like doing things and saying things she would never do and just uncontrollable anger. And even in the dream, she was trying to control it and couldn't control it. And what she found was, and I'm probably blowing the whole thing, but in the days after that, things that would make her angry didn't make her angry. So I forget exactly what it was we worked on in that dream, but it had to do with letting go of, she's had she's been affected by things like racism and things like that, right? Right. Mm-hmm. And so this piled up, and it's like when you're doing this kind of clearing, she wasn't clearing just for her; she was clearing for her whole ancestral line. Wow. She was like, I never had a dream like that where there was so much anger just spewing out of me. So that dream allowed her to release so much of the subconscious stuff. Yeah, it's just energy. Didn't have to be any particular beliefs or experiences. Like she doesn't know what it was. She just was expressing in this certain way. It totally shocked her and surprised her because she's never had a dream like this before. And then to go on through the rest of the week where things not getting triggered, things that would make her angry. She's like, that's interesting. This doesn't even bother me.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, powerful stuff can happen in your dreams, but was she beating and verbally and I think even physically stuff out of herself through herself in that dream? I don't know. But you know what? I think Rita might do a little bit more with dream interpretation.
Okay, yeah, we can ask her
I'm
next
pretty
week.
sure she might. So that's something we might want to hold over to next week to, you know, to see if she has some input to do with dreams.
Sure, yeah, we can do that. I also wanted to add something of my own too. We tend as humans to have a negative perception on the term limiting belief because so often the term is brought up in the context of, well, I'm stuck on this thing and I don't want to be stuck on it. Well, you have a limiting belief there, so what you're trying to do is get past your limiting belief. But the point I want to make is all beliefs by definition are limiting. That's what a belief is. A belief is a perspective that we develop from whatever perspective we're at about the universe, about what we're experiencing, about our lives, and we do it for the purpose of expansion. That's why we have limiting beliefs. So the real question isn't whether or not a belief is limiting. The real question is, do I select that limiting belief or do I select another one?
Right.
And then it becomes an option rather than a trap.
Yeah, so we can just call them beliefs. Beliefs that serve and beliefs that don't serve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if it's not serving you, you definitely want to release it. And you know, there's a lot of modalities that do that. I know I like theta healing for that. I like to pull beliefs through the theta healing methods. But again, there's no right way.
No.
So like when I get into a session with someone, however it wants to come through is how it comes through. And we just blow the energy out. You know, just bring in so much light that can no longer exist there. So it's like you're pulling away these darker energies that feel heavy, bringing in the light to where you wind up feeling like you're floating by the end of the thing. Yeah.
If I go back to the question as it was asked, because the question was about she was having this dream, lucid dream, story that she was telling about her SP isn't true. Is that a limiting belief? My answer to her is, what do you think? Do you find that belief to be limiting? If you do, you know what to do about it. If you don't, you know what to do about it. You don't have to decide that it's holding you back if you don't want to. You could decide that it's actually helping you. Or you could decide it's something you're not interested in. You could decide any number of things. The point is, you can decide.
It would have been more helpful to know what the limiting belief was that she was assuming was a limiting belief, because maybe it wasn't that at all. Maybe it was just looking at a certain energy or a certain way of being or something.
Well, I think the way she phrased it was kind of her indicator. She says, in the story that she's been telling herself about her special person isn't true because she's the only one who's awakened in that story. That's the limiting belief. And that's why I ask, okay, do you find that's limiting? If you find it's limiting, then it is. If you don't find it's limiting, then it isn't. It just depends on how you think about it. So how does she think about this fact that, you know, she got this message that says, well, you're the only one telling the story. So, you know, you've created a limiting belief. Okay. Do you think you have?
Yeah, I'm still kind of confused.
That's a call. That's not an objective fact. It's a choice.
I'm still kind of confused by the question anyway. For some reason, it's not computing with me. But if it's a lucid dream, the whole thing is when you're in a lucid dream, you can control the dream. So you're in the driver's seat of this dream.
Precisely.
And you can be the director of how things go in that dream.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know what the limiting belief part of that is, because she said it was a lucid dream, I'm pretty sure. But my son
she also defined it too. She said that it was a lucid dream because she was aware she was dreaming. And that's only part of a lucid dream. Like you said, a lucid dream is also where you can direct the events.
Well, if you're in a lucid dream and you're aware you're in a dream, you can direct the events. And there are cues, and David Wilcock teaches about that, of how you can, things you can do so that you know, am I awake within this dream or not? There are tells and ways to know that. So my son will have lucid dreams often, but he has a hard time staying in it, because as soon as he knows that he's in it, he gets so excited that he can now do what he wants to do in this dream. And then it's like, he says, it's kind of like he has this, and he comes back. Like he's no longer in the lucid dream. You know, he's back to his regular state. So that's something to explore at some time. I haven't really dived in deep to the whole thing with the dreams and the lucid dreams.
Well, we'll try to remember to bring it up with Rita next week and see what she has to say.
Yeah. So. But I do like, and David Wilcock does all these dream interpretations, and he shows how what was in the dream was just another reflection of the dreamer. And it really makes a lot of sense. So maybe you can look, maybe that will help her right there, just to look at whatever this limiting belief was or whatever it is that she was seeing, that she says is not true about the other person, because she's thinking the other person is actually the other person. But what if that other person was you? How would you look at the dream then?
Yeah. So once again, it comes down to, what do you think it is?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, I tell you, we didn't get through all the questions, but that's all right. This was we even got a meditation out of this. I mean, that was unplanned. That was fabulous.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
It was really fun. So thank you very much.
So pull energy. Pull energy. Pull the energy. You're pulling the energy through your hands, your feet, and your arms, your head. See, I'm still out there.
Yeah.
Of whatever it is you desire, just draw it to you. Right? You're just being that magnet the universe wants to give to you. So you're just going to draw those energies in.
And by the way, for those of you who have downloaded the app, congratulations. If you want to reach out to Linda, go to the host page, because there's a link right to her website there, lovemylife.coach. And you can just get in touch really, really simply. So take advantage, because I know, Linda, you love it when you hear from listeners, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We all do. So. All right. Thank you very much. That was great. Thank you for leading us through all that. Thank you for teaching us how to draw the energy in. That was really good.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you to live streamers.
Do it.
Thank you to our podcast listeners as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.